this fake felony conviction of Trump's in this corrupt judge's courtroom in New York has turned out to be the best thing ever. I just saw this, and this is absolutely amazing. Okay, now everyone's heard that as of Sunday morning, the Trump campaign has raised over $200,000, and that was as of Sunday morning. So here we are approaching the middle of the week. It's a lot more. And out in California, there's a big fundraiser in California. And I happen to know a couple of people who are listeners of the program that are going to this. They're California MAGA, and they're going to this Trump fundraiser. They've been telling me about it all week. And then I saw this on X today. The Trump fundraiser in California, it's scheduled for June 6th. It's entirely sold out. Keep in mind, this is a Trump fundraiser in California, right? Where our daughter lives. California. Exactly. Okay. So the Trump fundraiser in California, which is on June 6th, is entirely sold out, right? Now, it gets even better. When the fundraiser was first being promoted, tickets were being offered for $50,000.
Wow.
Yeah, well, listen to this. Because there was such an interest, they raised them.
Sure.
And they started going for $500,000.
No way.
Yes, $500,000, $500,000. And the event is sold out.
How many tickets did they sell?
I don't know, and I don't know how many went for they got for 50 and how many they got for $500,000.
It's amazing.
But we are in a whole nother place. Now,
let me ask you this, though. Because Sonny Hostin let it slip that they're going to recommend jail for Trump for a year.
At Rikers.
To go to Rikers.
Yeah, right.
And that is all about keeping him off the campaign trail. Okay? So say this happens. I'm just hypothetical. And he goes. And Trump said he'd be proud to go. Because I think he realizes he's doing this for us. You know what I mean? It's not about him. It's bigger than him now. He's a symbol, like as I said before. So say this happens, right? I was thinking about this the other day. And he has all this money, hundreds of millions of dollars, but he can't campaign. So what I think should happen, if this happens, and he can't use that money, I think his family should campaign for him.
They would.
I think Don Jr. and Eric, and even Barron, if his mother would let him, but I doubt it. But Don Jr. and Eric should go on the campaign trail for their father. That would be amazing. And I think this is what they would do. Have Lara Trump out there and everybody out there campaigning for him. And people would come out in droves. And that's what they should do if, God forbid, he ends up in jail, which they're going to find some way to keep him from campaigning, whether it's house arrest or jail. That is the goal, to keep him off the campaign trail. His kids can go campaign for him.
If they did that, if they did put him in jail.
Spend that money.
Okay. And you know, I know a lot of people keep saying they're not going to put him in jail. We don't know. This judge is nuts. And not only is the judge nuts,
I think they will.
The judge is corrupt. Yeah. And the judge's daughter has collected all the money. So they,
you think they're going to let this opportunity pass them by?
Yes.
They're so close.
So for people that say that the judge isn't going to send him to jail, I hope not. Maybe, probably not, but we really don't know. It's an unknown. You cannot be secure in that. No. And if they did what you're suggesting, which I think would be beautiful, if Trump's in jail and Don Jr. and Eric and Melania, that would be very powerful, started doing the rallies, they would get another mugshot when they book him into the jailhouse. Yes. They would kind of have on a big screen that mugshot. And if they don't get another mugshot, they can use the Fulton County mugshot. And have that up on the big screen behind him. If they put him under house arrest, if they put him under house arrest, he could zoom in.
That's exactly right.
From whichever one of his luxurious homes he's under house arrest. And that would be also very powerful.
Well, I don't think they want him to do that. Believe me, they're all discussing this behind closed doors.
Yes, they are.
And I wouldn't be surprised if this tells me that Sonny Hostin is being consulted. And I think that she's in on these discussions and she let it slip on The View because she can't help but brag about it, that she's a part of this. She wants everybody to know that she's a part of this, all her friends, that she has her hands on this directly so she can be a liberal hero. And I think she let it slip that she's a lawyer. I think she's definitely friends with Bragg and advising them and in on the discussions. And I think their plan is to imprison him, and I think they will do it.
Well,
and they're probably thinking, if we give him house arrest, he can still do his rallies from a screen. So we have to make sure he cannot do his rallies. That is the main thing they want to stop
the judge
him from campaigning.
If they put someone under house arrest, they can. The judge can order that they're not allowed to use computers and things like that. So they could do things like that. But the thing with Sunny Hostin, when she said the year in jail, so he has to go to Rikers. What Bragg recommends is not necessarily what the judge will give. Okay,
right,
the judge can give less or even more than what the prosecution. And in these J6 cases, in multiple cases, the judge gave out harsher sentences than the prosecutors recommended in some of these J6 cases. In fact, the judge that they have Trump going up in front of, Chunkin in D.C., she gave sentences worse, above, more severe than what prosecutors asked.
Sure, he could give him 3 to 6 years if he wanted to.
He could give him 20 years.
Yeah, he could. That would be insane.
And,
he might.
This judge is insane. He's completely insane and corrupt. So don't be so sure that this isn't going to happen. And I know a lot of people say the Secret Service will not allow it. I hope not.
That's what I'm wondering.
But here's the thing with the Secret Service. The Secret Service, they work for Biden. The Secret Service, for many, many years, forever and ever, were part of the Treasury Department. Now, I believe they're under Homeland Security. So that means Mayorkas is the cabinet secretary in charge of the Secret Service. They can give them orders. The Secret Service, okay, they're not an independent outlet.
Scary.
So this entire situation is unpredictable. Now, coming up in a couple of weeks, at the end of this month, is the first debate with President Trump and Biden. And this is the most historic presidential debate in history. We're going to have something that no one alive has ever seen. We're going to see a presidential debate in the United States between two presidents. It's never happened. It's been president versus vice president, presidents versus governors and congresspeople and senators and stuff. There's never been two presidents that have debated like this before, and it's going to be on television. So that alone makes it a big deal. But there's going to be this tactic of Biden to keep calling him a convicted felon. If you notice, this is all they say, the liberals, convicted felon. And if you listen to me on the morning show, I keep getting calls from liberals, and all they say is convicted felon, convicted felon. There was one guy today, Taliban Pat, who those of you that are longtime listeners will remember Taliban Pat. He has been banned from the show for about a decade. And Steve just recently lifted the ban, and he's back.
That.
Oh, it's maybe long. Could have been 15 years. He So Steve Kane lifted the ban, and he's been calling back. And I took his call today, and all he said is he's a convicted felon. He's a convicted felon. And I told you, Kathy, I said he's like Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy, who just says Groot. Yeah. He just, and no matter what is said, he just says Groot. These Trump haters, all they say is convicted felon, and for some reason, they think that resonates with people, and it costs Trump's votes. Every time they say convicted felon, Trump gains voters.
Yeah, it just pisses people off.
It does. And now the thing about the judge,
it just puts more money in his coffers.
That's exactly. Look at this thing in California.
Really.
The thing about the corrupt judge in New York, though, Merchan, this guy, no doubt about it, he's insane. These people in this Trump bubble, this Trump hating bubble, okay, they are concerned about their base, and their base are the Sunny Hostin types. And those types of people love the idea of Trump being in jail, and that's their base. Now, today, our corrupt Attorney General Merrick Garland was testifying in front of this House committee, and everyone knows that Biden and the Justice Department are behind all of these outrageous Trump prosecutions. So Matt Gaetz asked Merrick Garland about his agency, the Justice Department, his department, coordinating with Bragg, Fani Willis, and Letitia James, the Attorney General of New York. And Merrick Garland's answer, in my opinion, I'm going to play it for you now. But Merrick Garland's answer, in my opinion, is a confession that his agency, the Justice Department, are in coordination with all of them. He's confirmed it. And he says it this way because if he lies to Congress, he could go to prison, right? So he doesn't want to lie to Congress. So he gives this really weaselly answer, which means yes. So listen to this. This is the great Matt Gaetz with this corrupt attorney general that Obama wanted to put on the Supreme Court. Can you imagine this guy having a lifetime appointment on the Supreme Court of the United States? This is Merrick Garland with the great Matt Gaetz today.
Attorney General, you've told us that it's a dangerous conspiracy theory to allege that the Department of Justice is communicating with these state and local prosecutions against Trump. You can clear it all up for us right now. Will the Department of Justice provide to the committee all documents, all correspondence between the department and Alvin Bragg's office and Fani Willis's office and Letitia James's office?
The offices you're referring to are independent offices of state.
I get that.
State.
The question is whether or not you will provide all of your documents and correspondence. That's the question. I don't need a history lesson.
Well, I'm going to say again, we do not control those offices. They make their own decisions.
The question is whether you communicate with them, not whether you control them. Do you communicate with them and will you provide those communications?
If you make a request, we'll refer it to our Office of Legislative Affairs.
But see, here's the thing. You come in here and you lodge this attack that it's a conspiracy theory, that there is coordinated lawfare against Trump. And then when we say, fine, just give us the documents, give us the correspondence, and then if it's a conspiracy theory, that will be evident. But when you say, well, we'll take your request, and then we'll sort of work it through the DOJ's accommodation process, then you're actually advancing the very dangerous conspiracy theory that you're concerned about.
Exactly.
So Merrick Garland, that's a confession to me. Yes, we are coordinating with them.
Yeah.
And
isn't there a saying about about not answering is actually
Sometimes when you not answer, sometimes
not answering is a
sometimes not answering is an answer.
Or something.
But the way he answered it was not definitive because he doesn't want to lie to Congress because they are putting Trump people in prison, accusing them of such things. So he's being cagey about it, and legislative affairs, give me a break.
Right. And I said to you today, if Biden wins, I worry that they're going to go after a lot of people.
They are
influencers. People that
I'm not an influencer.
No, but but people that are higher up that they feel like have a big impact on politics.
I have no impact, and I'm not high up. Okay, thank you. I thought I was high up in impact. Well, I know what you mean. No, what'll happen?
Yeah,
what'll happen? I'm just kidding. What's of course, you all know I'm impactful. Okay, no, but what you're talking about is true. What'll happen is if God help the country, Biden were somehow reelected.
Yeah, I'm worried about what could happen.
There would be a couple things that would mean to them. One, that they have a complete mandate to quadruple down on all the garbage they've been doing. And secondly,
there'll be zero accountability. Zero.
They have declared anyone who disagrees with them to be like a hate group.
See, now,
what they want to do is declare. They want to declare anyone who disagrees or challenges them.
That's what I worry
a hate
about.
group,
See,
so they can shut them down.
They have the worry of Trump getting elected.
Oh, they're in a panic.
Okay, so once that worry is gone forever, because I don't know. Trump said he's not going to run again, but who knows? But once that worry is gone of the Trump factor, then that will really embolden them to a level
that's the snake poem
that will be frightening.
That Trump reads. They're a snake. That's why they do it. Yeah, they'll immediately start.
Yeah.
In fact, this is
that's what really concerns me.
I just have one more clip from Garland. I don't want to play too much of him, but this the reason I'm playing this is because it indirectly talks about what you just brought up. Okay,
and to bring to justice all those criminally responsible for the January 16th attack on our democracy.
Okay, see, so that's like
what I'm talking about.
That is a big thing for them,
and that could mean that could be a big umbrella.
It is
that could go beyond people that were even there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That could be a broad scope of things. I just wanted to say we're doing our MightyMagaLion.com, and we've sold quite a bit of lions this week, which is great. And I just made a donation to the Trump campaign. We're donating a percentage of sales to the Trump campaign. Every time you buy a lion, a percentage goes to the Trump campaign. So I just sent them money for this big, I'm doing it going to do it once a week, all the orders for the week, and then I'll send in the percentage. Mm-hmm. I don't want to have to do it every day. So that's what I'm going to do in a lump. So I just made a big donation today. So whenever you buy the lion for MightyMagaLion.com, you are not only getting an adorable lion, you're supporting, with a MAGA hat, by the way, you're supporting us and you're supporting Trump, because this is a new thing we're doing now, considering everything that's been going on. We want to contribute. So if you're considering contributing to Trump, consider buying the lion and contributing through us, because then you get a lion for your contribution. You understand? You don't have to do it that way, but we are contributing a percentage to the campaign. And it will add up to quite a bit. So don't worry, we're donating a decent amount.
Now, just say about the lion.
So it's a good way to contribute and get a lion. Show your support at MightyMagaLion.com. It's a new thing we're doing with new sales.
I just want to for those that aren't familiar with the Mighty Maga Lion, I know a lot of you are, but we haven't talked about the Mighty Maga Lion in a while, so some of you may not be familiar. I've shown it on YouTube this week. We designed and created with Dee, who's one of the moderators on my YouTube live chat, and one of our Patreon supporters, the Mighty Maga Lion. We came up with the concept for it. We designed it, three of us, and had it made. And the Mighty Maga Lion, the lion is cute and cuddly, based on Trump.
Adorable.
He's wearing
fierce.
He's wearing a MAGA hat. This is the only Trump-inspired merchandise wearing the MAGA hat. And these are only available through us at MightyMagaLion.com. Mm-hmm. There's a link in the description of the episode on whatever platform you're listening to.
You'll really love it. It's adorable. I mean, it's just the cutest thing.
Yeah.
But he's fierce, too.
And every lion that you buy, we donate a percentage to the Trump campaign. If you buy more than one lion, you get a discount. Okay? So
and more of a donation, too.
Mm-hmm.
You get more of a donation. So if you want to donate even more, you could buy 3 lions for you and your friends.
Yeah.
And you will have a bigger donation.
Yeah, MightyMagaLion.com. So this election is so important, because you heard this venom from Merrick Garland today. He'll be the attorney general still, and if Biden had a second term, and you hear he's already gearing up. He's already he's got the gulags ready. He just needs to have this mandate of a Biden reelection to go round people up.
That's what I thought when I heard him say that, even though he got the date wrong. I immediately just kind of just sent a chill down my spine.
It's scary.
Because I thought, I thought they were done with that. I thought they took care of everything.
They haven't even begun.
And they're kind of waiting, just like this BS border deal Biden's doing. It's all to give this is what Democrats do. Right before the election, they start acting like they're making positive changes. But as soon as he's in, they'll go back to business as usual.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand how Democrats cannot see through this. It's so obvious what they're doing, but what the Democrats do, like some of your callers, like Taliban, Pat, and these other people, they're so blinded by hate. And this is what the Democrats like to do. They use fear tactics and racism and all this stuff to manipulate people. And they're so blinded by hate that they don't see the truth. They believe what they want to believe. They believe Trump's a racist. They believe we're racist. And that's all they're going to see. They're not going to see the truth of what's really going on. They don't want to see it. You know what I mean? So,
no, that's true. And they cannot wait to start rounding people up. Mark Levin on his Fox News show, he said over the weekend, the Democrats have this new confederacy going on. And it really is. It's a rebellion against the American people. They have this new confederacy. And what they're doing is insane. What they're doing with the legal system is out of this. The Judge Cannon, who's the judge in the document case here in Florida, do you know that last week the Democrats have been organizing ethics complaints against her that they report to the federal courthouse in Miami? Last week alone, they got over 1,000 complaints about Judge Cannon.
Wow.
And the chief federal judge in Miami said no more complaints. They're not even accepting any more complaints against her.
This is what they do.
This is what the left do.
Everything is dishonest.
They're Marxists. They're tyrants.
Because they believe, and this is, I've said this before, Machiavellian, if you read The Prince, his whole philosophy was the ends justifies the means.
Correct.
And they believe that everything they're doing, lying, cheating, stealing, and making and doing things like this, ruining people's lives, all of this is justified because they know better and they're smarter than we are, and they have to save us from ourselves.
Yeah. And
that goes with the personality type that they've always had, which is control. And that's the type of personality that's drawn to that party. Somebody who likes control, who thinks they're better than other people, narcissistic. That they're drawn to that party because that's how they are.
Yeah, they are. And another thing too that's interesting, okay? When you have a national election like we're going into now, and for those outside of America that may not have a full understanding of how our elections work, when every 4 year, I know Americans know this, but these are for listeners in other countries. Every 4 years, okay, you get the presidency is up. 1/3 of the Senate is up, and the entire House of Representatives, every member of the House of Representatives is up for re-election every 2 years. So they're up for re-election now, the whole House, and that's 435 people. Most people have their minds made up, and there's always this battle for the undecided voter or the independent voter, and an independent voter may be registered Democrat or Republican or even independent. And the Democrats have lost not just total control of their minds, they've lost touch with the pulse of the American people. And the Democrats, it's almost like they're throwing the towel in. They do not understand this convicted felon thing that they keep saying over and over again, how that's turning people towards Trump, that many of them would be voting Democrat. I saw a story yesterday that said that $200 million that was raised by Sunday morning by the Trump campaign, many of those small donations were from Democrats who have donated to a Republican, Donald Trump, for the first time in their life. When they talk convicted felon, they lose votes every time. And I know some people, because I have been wondering, why do I let these people say this? They say you shouldn't let them say this. The more they say convicted felon, the more people join the Trump train. Every time they say it, new people jump on the Trump train. So let them say it.
I want to say, when you go to donaldjtrump.com, which is where we're making our donations, where the official donation, the first thing that pops up is a picture of Donald Trump and says political prisoner.
Yeah.
Stand with Trump.
Yeah.
And then when you go in, it talks about the MAGA movement, and it talks about there's a message from Trump. The left thinks that if they bury me with enough witch hunts and intimidate my family and associates, that I'll eventually throw up my hands and give up on our America First movement. Let me be as clear as possible. I will never stop fighting for you. As the never-ending witch hunts heat up, please make a contribution to defend the MAGA movement. So that is what you see when you go to donaldjtrump.com. That's where I'm making the donations for the Mighty MAGA Lion. And when there's also a ticker take, if you go there, and it shows all the donations coming in, people are donating all kinds of amounts. Some just $1, some $20, some $100, but it's a constant ticker take of people donating, and there's different options. So it's really amazing what's happening. And Americans definitely, speak with their wallets. But at the same time, like, when you say people called a witch hunt, or that they say convicted felon, how it ignites us. The same thing happens on the other side of the spectrum. The more money he raises, then the more they react to that too. There's always a cause and effect. So Trump's raising all this money. It's scaring the Democrats, but at the same time, it makes them connive and scheme even more. So there's the flip coin to that. You know what I mean? It's just, that's the way it is. But the main thing, and I've said this before on the show, and I'll say it on every show if I have to, is to start voting as early as you can, and don't wait for election day. Get out and vote. Tell your friends, tell your colleagues, vote as early as possible. Tell your family, don't wait for November 5th. As soon as early voting starts, get out and vote. Get your family to vote. If you have elderly people in your family, volunteer to pick them up, take them to the voting polls and vote. Volunteer as a poll worker. This is serious. We have to get involved, and this is really our last opportunity.
Now, yeah, you're right. I want to play this clip. This is a hot mic moment. Did you see this with Joni Ernst? Oh, this was hilarious. So Joni Ernst, she comes out with some other Republicans. They have a little bit of a press conference, and she walks off stage. She doesn't know she's being picked up by a microphone, and she's talking about Biden. She's talking about Joe Biden.
Bottom line, never trust a man whose uncle was eaten by cannibals.
You hear that? She says, never trust a man, but she says, bottom line, never trust a man whose uncle was eaten by cannibals. She's talking about Biden. Let me play it again. Now that I told you, it's Joni Ernst. Pretty funny.
That's
Listen.
funny.
Bottom line, never trust a man whose uncle was eaten by cannibals.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty funny.
We'll be right back.
Men, are you tired of looking tired? You can turn your tired eyes into a vibrant and refreshed look with a specially formulated under-eye cream for men at Amazon.com/shops/Meditati. That's MEDITATI. This anti-aging formula is designed to repair and protect your eyes against the common signs of aging. Dark circles, puffiness, and those pesky crow's feet, gone. With Meditati, you'll say goodbye to those tired eyes and hello to a youthful appearance. It's packed with peptides, vitamin C, jojoba oil, green tea, CoQ10, and other essential ingredients. This formula will keep your under eyes bright and refreshed. It also keeps your skin hydrated with the highest quality natural and organic ingredients. It's crafted by skincare experts, and this non-greasy, lightweight formula absorbs quickly and efficiently, nourishing the skin around your eyes. So if you're tired of puffiness and wrinkles, go right now to Amazon.com/shops/Meditati. That's MEDITATI. Don't miss out on this chance to give your eyes the care they deserve, because you and your eyes deserve it. Amazon.com/shops/Meditati. Father's Day is just around the corner. Are you searching and searching for that perfect gift that says, thanks, Dad? Then look no further than ActicFox Market US on Etsy. Their bestseller is the wooden keepsake puzzle piece with matching keychain. Each piece is laser engraved with a heartfelt message. You can choose from their thoughtful messages or customize it with your own words to make it uniquely his. ActicFox Market US on Etsy has a wide range of thoughtful, customizable gifts, from unique apparel and patriotic creations to stylish home decor and accessories. Every piece is designed with love and crafted to bring a smile to Dad's face. And here's something to really celebrate. Use the promo code RADIO and save 15% off any order over $79.50, plus free shipping anywhere in the United States. That's right, free shipping. Make this Father's Day unforgettable. Visit the shop right now online at ActicFoxMarketUS.Etsy.com. ActicFox Market US is US veteran owned. Start shopping right now online at ActicFoxMarketUS.Etsy.com. That's ActicFoxMarketUS.Etsy.com. Your special gift for a special dad is just a click away. ActicFoxMarketUS.Etsy.com.
This guy with the pillows on Fox? My pillow guy, Mike Lindell. Where is Mike? He is the greatest. First of all, he does make a great product, great pillows. I actually use them, believe it or not. He's been a supporter from day one. The My Pillow guy, thank you. And he's been with us right from the beginning.
As always, President Trump is right. The My Pillow is so good, even President Trump sleeps on one. Support Mike Lindell, President Trump, and the Steve Kane Show at the same time. Go to MyPillow.com and use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout for huge savings on My Pillow products. Promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in. So, Marjorie Taylor Greene's been on fire the last couple of days. I want to play this clip. I played this morning on the radio, but I had to bleep it out because the language is not allowed on the radio. So I want to play the unbleeped out version from Marjorie Taylor Greene. And then
it's really good.
And then she went on Real America's Voice today with Bannon, and she really went off about Republicans. So we'll play that second. But this is the unbleeped version.
Her boyfriend's on there now.
Not yet. He's going to be.
I saw him on there. Somebody sent me a screenshot.
He just was a quick guest, Brian Glenn from Right Side.
So is he going to have his own show?
He said next month his own show is starting.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That'll be exciting.
So this is Marjorie Taylor Greene, the unbleeped version.
Know to be a fact. It's all the evidence has been proven true. We have Jamie Raskin in there accusing us of worshiping Trump, worshiping as a convicted felon. Well, yeah, so is George Floyd. And everybody, and you all too, the media worship George Floyd. Democrats worship George Floyd. There were riots burning down the fucking country over George Floyd. And Raskin is in there saying we worship him. Excuse me, let me correct you, and this is really important. I don't worship, I worship God. God. And Jesus is my savior. I don't worship President Trump. And I'm really sick and tired of the bullshit annex I have to deal with constantly from the Democrats.
I mean, I love it. She's on fire.
She's not the only one sick of it.
That's one of those things they just love to say, that we worship Trump, you're in a cult. Trump is the first really, truly populist Republican president. Ronald Reagan was popular and all that, but he was not Trump. And for the first time, we have someone that's just loved by every group there is as the Republican.
Well, and I'd also say that Trump's got a global appeal that Reagan. I don't know. Reagan was pretty big.
Even in this country, Reagan didn't have the appeal Trump has. No. I mean, you look at Trump; he's got rappers at his event.
Yeah.
Rap was around during Reagan's time, believe it or not, the early days. And
but did anybody hold rallies?
No.
For Reagan, like in Europe, like they're doing in London for Trump.
No, there was nothing like this.
Yeah, it's a movement.
There was nothing like this. So, they like to say, oh, you're a cult. That's the thing. So I'm glad she said that. So this is her on the War Room, though, with Bannon today. She's talking about Republican.
We should be doing right now, today, we should be voting to impeach Joe Biden because of the invasion in the United States. Oh, but no, none of that is happening up here in Washington, D.C. because Republicans continually have their head up their ass and can't figure out how to actually use the power that the people gave us. This is a new time in America, and I am so fed up, Steve. I am so fed up. I am so sick of it because I know people at home are sick of it. People are sick and tired of a feckless, useless Republican Party that never does a damn thing to stop any of this. They just sit in the boat and row along with the Democrats and row.
She's right.
She's spot on.
And this invasion, if Trump were not to be reelected in November and Biden won, the invasion right now, it would be 100 times larger than it is now. They would transport all of South America.
That's what's going to happen if Biden wins.
President Trump today released a statement on Biden's fake thing that he's shutting down the border. And, he talked about something that's so important. He talked about how the crime rate in Venezuela is almost non-existent. It is dropped about 70%, the crime rate in Venezuela, because all the criminals, they're bringing them here. When they arrest someone, instead of putting them on trial and put them in prison, they just put them in a caravan.
Well, Tucker is right. They want to turn America. This is all Obama. Him and his cronies, they hate America. Remember when his wife said all this for a flag?
Yeah.
They hate this country. They want to turn America into one of those third world shitholes. Sorry, but that's what they want to do. And they do that by bringing in he said, you bring in the third world, you get the third world. And that's what's happening. And that's exactly what they're doing. And let me tell you, if Biden gets reelected, like you said, it is this country by the end of his term will be absolutely unrecognizable because the people that are coming in are very different than the people that came here in the early 20th century. Okay, those people came here to become American, to assimilate. I've told you guys this
there was
before.
no welfare system then, though.
Right. My great-grandfather came here. He changed his name from Frecci to Fretch. Came from Sicily. My grandmother and them, they never really spoke Italian. He wanted them to learn English. He said, no. I asked my grandma, did you grow up speaking Italian? She said, no. She said, my parents wanted us to know English. Yeah. They wanted us to be American, not Italian. It's different now. Now they want us to be like them. Yeah. They want to change our way of life and our culture.
And then, there was no social welfare. So if you didn't support yourself, you didn't eat. Now,
that's right.
Some big problems going on in this country, and because of Biden, and really one of the biggest, because it impacts us all every day, is the inflation on everything. And we're moving into the summertime now. In Florida, it already is in the summer. The heat index at our house is over 100 degrees regularly.
It's crazy.
And for those that don't know what the heat index is, you Northerners, like the wind chill factor, it's that for the heat, what the temperature really feels like. So it'll be like 95, but it'll feel like 110. So
remind me to tell you something about that I saw the other day, which is interesting.
Okay. So they were talking about energy prices, and the electric bill is always a big deal, but especially during the summer because of air conditioning. Now, here in Florida, we have our air conditioning on pretty much every day of the year. We might, and if we turn it off, it's not even for a full day on the coldest day. But during the heat like we're having now, it's not only do we have the air conditioning on 24 hours a day, it runs a lot longer because it's so hot, right? And this is a story from CNN. They're talking about electricity.
Well, many Americans may be getting hot under the collar when they open their electric bills this summer. The cost of keeping cool is expected to rise nearly 8% to $719 for the bills running June through September, according to the National Energy Assistance Directors Association. And some areas of the country, like the Pacific and the Mid-Atlantic and parts of the Midwest, may see even a higher share of increase. And that's up from $527 in 2019. The numbers have been rising steadily year to year. Utility prices skyrocketed in recent years, making it harder for people to keep up with both their cooling bills in the summer and their heating bills in the winter.
Yeah. Every aspect of things that you really can't avoid is what's going up. What's going up in price are the necessities: food, electricity, utilities.
Things you have to have.
I had a guy call me on the radio the other day. His auto insurance, and ours has gone up. His auto insurance has gone up. And he said his auto insurance is as much as the car payment on his new car. He's got a new truck. He's got to have a truck for work. And you've got to have auto insurance. You've got to have a car. This is a guy. He was interviewed. That was CNN about so even on CNN, they're talking about the high cost of energy. This was this was a guy on Fox, and they're talking about home insurance premiums. Listen.
Home insurance premiums up 38% since 2020. I've got a third-generation home builder here. John Chisano, tell me why everything costs more.
Well, you see the cost of copper, steel, aluminum, even the increased gas prices. Everything here is brought here by a truck, so it's going to be dropped here, and the prices are going to go up in there. You see the lumber that we have here; those prices are so volatile. As demand is going up, those prices are going to continue to rise.
Look at what this guy is doing here behind us. Maybe you see it. That's called OSB, right?
Correct.
Oriented strand board. That was about $10 a sheet at the start of the pandemic. It went up to what, 50?
It went up to about $50 a sheet, and to give you an idea, there's 300 sheets in the average house that we built, so that comes out to a cost between $12,000 and $13,000.
Added cost.
Added cost, and it's not quite at that level now. It's more like at $18 a sheet, but that's still double the price of pre-COVID prices.
And that's just for one thing. So home insurance a lot of people will say, well, I don't own a home. Why do I care? If you're a renter, the landlord is passing that price on to you and your rent. And
I'm so
and
glad
our home
we have
insurance,
a home, honest to God. But our insurance is up, but we bought our home 20 years ago.
Well, we bought our house 20 years ago, so the house itself is very, very affordable for us. But the homeowner's insurance has gone up so much. The last 2 years, it's gone up thousands of dollars each year. And
no, it added this year. It added $200 to our payment
every month.
Every month.
So it's
that's $2,400.
It's just under $3,000 actually for the whole year.
Yeah.
And last year it went up a few $1,000s too. So in the last 2 years alone, our insurance has gone up $6,000-$7,000.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of money, $6,000-$7,000. And you go through every aspect of your life. The price of everything hasn't just gone up a little; it's gone up a lot. And I think that most people have a sense of what is very true is that Biden and the Democrats don't care.
No,
they don't care. Now, the reason they don't care, we won't really know. I mean, maybe they're just pissed off because we support Trump so much and they figure we should suffer. I don't know. Or maybe they don't earn their money. They steal it from like the Ukraine war, funding and all this stuff. I don't know. But there's no sense that the government gives a darn about the suffering of Americans with these high prices.
They see what's happening. So I don't understand. But when you talk to Biden, he's like lives in another world. Oh, there's no inflation. There's no Antifa. There's no, you know what I mean? So I don't know if he's being sheltered and being given different information or if he's just, he's a liar. He lies to himself.
Yeah.
But I want to say as far as the electric bill, our electric bill, luckily in Florida where we live, we don't really have a heating bill. I mean, I think I've run the heat 2 or 3 times in the winter. I mean, honestly.
In years, yeah.
Because it doesn't get that cold here. I mean, the coldest it might get is in the 40s, upper 40s, and that might be for like a week. And that's it. And then I might put the heat on for a week at the most in the entire year. But if you live up north, like my best friend lives in Utah, she's got her heat on all the time. And she said now the weather's crazy because it's really cold at night in like the 50s, but then it'll be 90 during the day. So she's got to run both. She's got to run the air during the day and then put the heat on some nights.
Yeah.
So that's how it is for a lot of people. Like Emily's in LA, and she said certain times of the year it'll be freezing at night, but it'll be really hot in the daytime. Here it's pretty steady. Mm-hmm. We don't have those issues. But I read an article the other day. Okay, you were talking about the heat index. In Florida, there's a big thing. It's been like this forever, okay? They give you the temperature, which they actually take in the shade. And then they say the heat index, so they say the temperature is 95, but the heat index is 105. You always add 10 points for the heat index. It's always been that way since I was a kid. Now, climate activists are upset about that. They said you should call it what it is, that it's climate change, that it's not a heat index, that it's the climate changing. But the heat index has been around for decades.
The temperatures in Florida have always been hot. The heat index has always been over 100.
Always.
But the reason that I complain about it more than I used to is as you get older, the heat affects you more.
But what I'm saying is they're trying to turn the heat index
into the real temperature,
into the real actual temperature. But the heat index has been around since
like
the 70s, maybe the 60s, like the wind chill.
Are they going to make the wind chill the actual temperature
Exactly.
too?
They want to turn the heat index.
It's 20 below zero in New York.
But that's not the way it is. They always take the temperature here in, I saw a meteorologist say it, that they take it in the shade. Mm-hmm. And then the heat indexes you factor when you're out in the sun and the humidity. It's always been like that. You add those factors in, and that's the more accurate temperature. They've always done that. But now the climate activists want to make it the real temperature to give you the false impression that the climate change exists.
Yeah. Meanwhile, this lady president that just got elected in Mexico, and of course, no one becomes president of Mexico that hasn't been approved by the cartels, right?
And probably by our country too.
Yeah. So, this lady president, they're all celebrating. She's a climate scientist.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
So she's a hardcore global warming climate scientist. She's now the president of Mexico. What are their plans with that? It is, no one becomes president of Mexico without being handpicked by the cartels and probably the deep state in this country.
I'm thinking the latter has more to do with it than the cartels.
So the deep state and the cartels have some interest in global warming that they're going to further through Latin America with this Mexican president. It is not a coincidence that the Mexican lady president is a climate scientist. It is not a coincidence. It is very deliberate. I don't know what they're doing with that. I know that if you listen to AOC and the Democrats, they keep telling us that the rapists and murderers from Venezuela, they're coming here to escape climate change in Latin America. So maybe that has something to do with it to help facilitate the invasion USA going on across the border. I don't know. But all this celebration of this lady president, you don't hear them talking about her being a global warming climate scientist, do you? And that is not by accident. Now, I want to take a moment to thank our Patreon supporters for their support. And, those of you that are Patreon supporters, your support makes this show possible, and your support is very much appreciated. And those of you who are Patreon supporters, on the Patreon page, you have access to commercial-free editions of all of our podcast episodes. And also, there's a lot of things that Kathy posts and that I post that we post nowhere else, that you'll see nowhere else as well, okay? And if you'd like to support the program by becoming a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the description of this and every episode. And our top Patreon supporters get a live, on-air thank you shout-out on each and every podcast episode. So the names you will hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Rick, Nick, Wesley, Macho, Mike P, Carlos, Paulette, John, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Richard, Alice, K-Mac, LeeZep, Shawna, Constance, George, Brandon, and Rob and Trish Wilkerson. These are our top Patreon supporters. Thank you so much for your support. And again, if you'd like to become a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the description of this and every episode. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We're going to take a break and be back with much more right after this.
Parents, grandparents, and teachers, enter the enchanting world of author Adam Kaunacki. He's a former law enforcement officer turned children's author. After a remarkable 20-year career, his life changed due to a major on-duty car accident, leading him to discover his incredible talent for storytelling. Adam's books are adventures that teach kindness, bravery, and the importance of doing what's right. Nobody Listens to Mom and My Dad is a Police Officer are perfect for bedtime stories, classroom reading, or any moment you want to inspire and educate your child. Each book is beautifully illustrated with vibrant, colorful images that captivate young imaginations. Adam channels his experiences and wisdom into creating captivating stories that impart valuable life lessons. Adam Kaunacki's books are available on Amazon. Order yours right now and let your child embark on unforgettable adventures with Nobody Listens to Mom and My Dad is a Police Officer. Order now and let the adventures begin. From author Katie Prock comes your next must-read book that's also a great addition to your book club. Always Looking for Rainbows on Amazon. Katie never planned to get arrested. She never had it easy either. She's been through a lot. She grew up in a cult, overcame drug addiction, lost loved ones, and had a baby at just 18 years old. But at 34, she thought she had things figured out until she found herself in the back of a squad car. This is the moment she realized she had been balancing on the edge of disaster for years. Always Looking for Rainbows is her true story of survival, dysfunction, and finding the way to thrive. Through a 52-week anger management course, she examines the life events that tangled her up. For the sake of herself and her family, against all odds, she learned to truly thrive. Always Looking for Rainbows is her story of resilience and transformation. Order your copy right now on Amazon. Available in Kindle, paperback, and Kindle Unlimited. Always Looking for Rainbows from author Katie Prock.
You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian, I just want to give a shout out to My Coffee. This is very important. Anybody that has any kind of acid reflux, if you try the low acidic coffee of My Coffee, It is absolutely the best. I wasn't able to drink coffee for years, and I tried it, and now I can drink the coffee with no problem whatsoever. It's absolutely delicious. The flavor is like a tastier flavor than regular coffee. I'm telling you, I don't get stomach aches. I don't get anything. I'm so happy with it, and I think that you ought to mention it. I think it's important, especially for older people.
Mike Lindell says that his coffee, the My Coffee, which is 50% off with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, at mypillow.com, it's the best tasting coffee you've ever had.
Absolutely true. I have tried over the years other coffees, and nothing comes near his, and that really is the truth.
50% off with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, at mypillow.com.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. So President Trump, he released a new video today. I wanted to play some of this, and it's pretty powerful stuff. He had a lot to say today. I'll just play the video. We'll talk about it as it goes on.
I am the political prisoner of a failing nation, but I will soon be free on November 5th, the most important day in the history of our country, and we will together make America great again. Thank you.
Okay. Now, what this is, just so you know, President Trump made several videos today that he dropped. So this is a montage.
He's on TikTok now, by the way. He's on TikTok. So if you're on TikTok, follow him.
Yeah, so this is a montage of those videos edited together. Okay? That's why he says that, thank you and all this stuff at the end, and then the next one will start. I'll start it over, but I forgot to tell you guys that.
I am the political prisoner of a failing nation, but I will soon be free on November 5th, the most important day in the history of our country, and we will together make America great again. Thank you.
I mean, this political prisoner status, that has not gone unnoticed by people. That's why that fundraiser in California sold out. That's why they've raised over $200 million with the Trump campaign just over the weekend.
He has 5.1 million on TikTok. He just joined like 2 days ago.
That's crazy.
Not a lot of people that are MAGA are on TikTok. I understand that.
Well, you need to reach people that aren't MAGA already.
Right, exactly. But I'm saying if you don't have the app, you don't have to use it, but you can download it, and you could just follow him and just watch it just for him. I have to tell my mom because she's kind of addicted to TikTok.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she likes to watch the animal videos. They're pretty funny. So I'll have to let her know he's on there now. But so that's good. What I worry about is, they want to lock him up and throw away the key.
Oh, yeah.
And silence him forever. And I worry about that. If he is put in jail, how will his messaging get out? I mean, it'll get out. He's cut off.
No,
I don't know how.
He's got all of us. Well, let me get back to the video.
But I'm saying, like, he's making a video here. How's he going to make videos? Or they're not going to. He's very restrictive.
He's not in Spandau prison. That's where they took the Nazi war criminals. Don Jr. and
do
Eric,
whatever they want.
They'll be visiting him, and they'll get his message out. So let's get back to this. These are his videos that he dropped today. I got to wait for the next one to come up. It's not tight edit.
Sitting for 5 weeks through that rigged trial in Lower Manhattan, which was surrounded by vast but unnecessary numbers of New York's finest in order to keep law-abiding MAGA patriots away. And as I watched insignificant numbers of fully funded radical left troublemakers with brand new and gleaming professionally made signs, screaming and cursing from areas said to be close to us and all others, I realized that reason, truth, and love of our country is no longer a force of good and change. These are dark days in America, but we will make America great again. Thank you.
Yeah, and the thing about the professional signs, that's pretty important because that shows you the DNC's behind the Democrat protest.
It's scary because he just said like reason and truth is not winning right now. And we're dealing with people that you cannot reason with. These are people that are beyond reason. They're irrational. They have an agenda. Nothing's going to stop them. And it's frightening. It's frightening. And, you know, you look back through history and America, you know, will survive. And but we've gone through, I mean, you know, the Civil War was probably the darkest time in this country, and then the assassination of Lincoln and stuff.
The Depression.
The Depression.
Dust Bowls.
I mean, we've gone through hard times. So we're Americans. We will persevere. And I believe in this country, and I believe in that. You know, if you read history books, you do see how things have not always been wonderful, and there have been very dark times. The key is to persevere and to stay faithful and to trust that the truth does come out eventually, and that's true. And I really feel that Trump, as I've said before, is a man of faith and of great patience. And I think he likes to let things unfold and let the chips fall where they may, as I've said before, and let things kind of, that way things are exposed. And I think he understands that what's happening to him is exposing the corruption. He's the kind of the conduit for that, and it's important.
Now, before we get back to President Trump's videos, you know, we were talking about inflation. One place where the opposite has happened, where prices have dramatically gone down, and that is at MyPillow.com with our promo code Kane at checkout. The $25 extravaganza continues, and that's $25 on some of the most popular MyPillow products, including the 6-piece MyPillow towel set and many other top very popular MyPillow items. We were talking about the temperature for the summer. Let me tell you, you know, you get the MyPillow mattress topper 2.0, you get the MyPillows 2.0 with cooling technology. You're going to be cool and comfortable all night long. The MyPillow mattress topper 2.0, which is a 3-inch mattress topper, is 40% off. The MyPillow, with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, the MyPillow 2.0 is buy one, get one free with our promo code Kane. There are many other specials. You can use our promo code Kane, Kane, on all the specials at MyPillow.com.
Oh, they've got great specials.
And it's also free shipping on all orders over $75. So support Mike Lindell and support our program by using our promo code Kane, Kane, for these deeply discounted deals going on right now at MyPillow.com. All right, let's get back to President Trump.
My very honest and respected bookkeeper called a legal expense on the tiny description line of a ledger a legal expense. The only thing you could have called it. Openly paid to my lawyer, at the time a fully accredited one. So a legal expense was called a legal expense, not a construction expense or an expense for sheetrock or cinder block or an expense for what other people might want to call it. No, legal expense was legal expense. There was nothing wrong. I was not involved in that designation, but what else would you have called it? It was absolutely done correctly. It was, in fact, a legal expense, and that is the so-called crime that you've been reading so much about. On top of that, I wasn't allowed by the judge to use in any form the standard reliance on counsel defense or advice of counsel. My lawyer at the time did virtually everything on the NDA, non-disclosure agreement, which is a very commonly used agreement, very legal. And I assumed that what he did was correct. I did absolutely nothing wrong, and frankly, there was nothing done wrong. NDAs are so standard and so commonly used. And I just say that we are going to end these witch hunts. It has to end. It has to end. But think of it, you rely on a lawyer, and you're allowed to do that, and the judge wouldn't allow that as a defense. It's a standard defense. He wouldn't allow it. If this can happen to me, it can happen to anyone. We have to save our country, and we're going to save our country. We're going to make America great again. Thank you very much, everybody.
Yeah, you know, this thing about the lawyer, things that involve lawyers is so complex. You hire a lawyer,
right, And I'm sure he has dozens of lawyers.
And you trust them to handle everything. You know, I've never heard people being questioned like this. All right, this montage.
Civil rights have been totally violated with this highly political, unconstitutional, and election-interfering witch hunt of a trial. Our failing nation is being laughed at all over the world for what's happening. But we're going to go forward, and we're going to make America better than ever before. November 5th is the most important day in the history of our country. And we're going to get out there. We're going to vote like never before. And we're going to also appeal this rigged trial. And we're going to win at the appellate level or in the appeals courts, even if we have to go up to the United States Supreme Court, because everybody knew what a disgraceful sham this was. Thank you very much.
No, these are great.
I just wish he'd stop harping on that date, because it's putting in the mind of people just to vote on that day. And that's he's got to, like Jason Chapin said, he's got to get more in the head of early voting. So instead of putting a date on it, I wish he would say something like, it's really important to vote. Make sure you vote as early as possible. Don't you agree? I mean, I understand what he's saying.
I've heard him talk about the early voting. Laura Trump and him both talked about it.
I know, but he keeps mentioning November 5th, and it's going to start resonating with people to vote on that day where they really need to vote earlier.
Yeah, now we'll play the next one. I think there's two more. These are all a montage from today.
We will have victory on November 5th. Save America. That's what we're going to do. Thank you.
Oh, that one was short and sweet. All right, then we'll get to the next one now. These are all released today by Trump, and they're together in a montage.
Large-scale mounting evidence that all of the unprecedented number of lawsuits brought against me, the witch hunt, are conceived of and coordinated by the White House and DOJ and, frankly, crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of our country. Such a disgrace, all done illegally to help crooked Joe fight his political opponent. That happens to be me. But the people are wise to it. We're going to make America great again. November 5th is going to be the most important day in the history of our country. That's when our country is going to turn around. It's going to be something very, very special, and people just can't wait. November 5th, get out and vote. Thank you.
Okay, now he does talk about early voting. So does Laura Trump. But the election that's when it's over. So that's why he keeps talking about the 5th. All right, there's I think just one more, so we'll play that one, and then we'll be at the last one after this one.
Crooked Joe Biden's DOJ, in their illegal and unconstitutional raid of Mar-a-Lago, authorized the FBI to use deadly lethal force. Can you believe that? Now we know for sure that Joe Biden is a serious threat to democracy. He is indeed a big threat, not me. They'd like to have the world, through their misinformation machine, think I'm the threat. No, they're the threat. He is mentally unfit to hold office. 25th Amendment, anybody?
Yeah, the debate at the end of the month, Joe Biden's got a lot of weakness, and the response from Joe Biden and from Fake Tapper and Dana Bash, it's going to be nonstop. They're going to say convicted felon, convicted felon. You're going to hear that nonstop during the debate. Let him do it. Let him do it. Biden has so many flaws and so many disasters. Trump is going to have no problem in the debate. That doesn't mean we're going to be happy with the way they treat him and they're going to be unfair and he's debating 3 people, right? But he's going to be fine.
Well, there'll be no audience there to support Trump.
Or Biden.
Well, they're not concerned about that. Trump would get much more support. They don't want people yelling things from the audience to make Biden look bad. It's going to be a highly controlled environment. And this is what concerns me, is that CNN, I'm positive of this, is working with Biden's team to craft this.
Oh, yeah.
In a very specific way to obviously make Trump and MAGA look very bad. They have a lot of time to do. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they're bringing in high-level directors and producers and script writers for this whole thing. I could promise you Biden will have everything. They got plenty of time to prepare him, and they're going to have him ready with one-liners and quips and jokes. We've seen him in debates. He's very rude and nasty. Last time he told Trump to shut up. I mean, he's just not a nice man. And Trump usually, he keeps his cool. I've really never seen Trump ever lose his temper, ever. I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't get angry, but have you ever seen him lose it or anything? No, he's always really, even-tempered. I'm not worried about Trump. He can hold his own. But I tell you, he has so much against him.
Oh, that's
it's just incredible to me. But he goes out. This is what keeps him going, is us. He goes out and he's in touch with the people. He went to that UFC fight last week, and the one guy that's who started the TikTok was on his first TikTok. The guy that I'm not sure who he is. I guess he's a fighter. He let him out into the crowd. He was with him, the bald guy. And I don't know who he is. I'm sorry. But the crowd went nuts. People love Trump. And this infuriates the left. But they'll tell themselves, yeah, well, people loved Hitler. I mean, you know what I mean? That's how they rationalize it, that we're just stupid like the Nazis and that we're like the people in the crowd when Hitler was going by and they were waving at him. They just think we don't know any better and that we're just blindly following this guy into the lake like the Pied Piper. But it's not that. They don't understand that this is about our freedom and this is about saving our country. And all the things they're doing to destroy us, we see it happening, and Trump can stop it, and that's what it's about.
That's right. Now listen, we are out of time for today. We will be back next time. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in. We will talk to you next time.